Victim no more. Be the commander in your situation. Welcome back to New Year, New Brain. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. I'm here to crush mold brain and screen brain. And I know if this is your first visit, those things don't seem to go together, but they do. Screens are toxic for the mind, mold is toxic for the body, and the solution is the same. And guess where it can be found? It can be found in the problem. So here's the deal, is that when something seems out of our control, it makes us feel like victims. Trust me, I've been accidentally playing the victim a little bit myself these days because I feel miserable. I don't know how to solve it. Hopefully I do now, but I didn't know how to solve it. And I didn't know how to move forward. So if a commander in a ship runs into weather that's uncontrollable and waves that are, crashing over his ship, he doesn't just go, this is a lot for me to deal with. Maybe I'll just lay down and let this thing ride itself out. He can't, or he will be killed. And, you might not die from your screen or mold brain, but it is definitely taking you down without you knowing it. So this is how you become the commander. You have to look at it. You have to look directly at your situation and figure out what the working pieces are and figure out what the important ones are. And then you have to be willing to move towards them. So there's two things that I want to tell you in this brain hack. Brain hack number one is you have to do the things that will work to solve your problem, not the things that are easier to do. So behaviorally, I'm talking about. So when you go to make changes in your life, this is a story that's happening right now. So welcome to my life, is that we are doing a 21-day cleanse. My husband and I and our best friends. We always do it in January. A lot of people do dry January and they do cleanses in January. It's the perfect time to hibernate, not go out, and to give your system time to detox and time to, purge the toxins, literally. So we're physically purging the toxins with the cleanse, and we're moderating our screen time so that we can give our brains a break too. And thankfully, none of us are really screen time people. That one's easy. But essentially, we're not eating or drinking. We're just drinking the shakes that I put a picture of on my Instagram. Green smoothies, salads, that's it. So that's the cleanse that we're doing. So of course, I'm still imploding with mold toxins inside of me. And we've learned that the place that we're living has toxic mold in it. I just did the test. So my husband's like, do the cleanse, do the cleanse. I'm like, babe, I'm doing the cleanse, but we need to move. And he's like, we don't need to move. If you do the cleanse, you'll start to heal. I'm like, I can't. I can detox toxins from my body all day long, but if I live in a toxic environment, I'm not going to heal. So here's the point about this first brain hack is it's easy to look at a cleanse and go, I'm going to cleanse to heal. That's the hijacker telling you, take the easy route. You don't have to do the difficult thing. So don't be hijacked. And I almost allowed myself to do that because I didn't want to. I did allow myself for 2 days. And you've heard me. I call that planned ignoring. Like I knew it wasn't the solution, but I'm like, okay, let's start the cleanse. Let's do this thing. 2 days later, I'm still blowing up like a balloon. And he's like, we have to move. And it took him 2 days to process it. And I know our relationship. This is how it goes. So 2 days later, we're able to look at the real solution. The solution is getting out of the toxic environment. So if you're struggling with screen brain, the solution is getting out of the screen, especially if it's explicit content. It is damaging your brain. If you're on the screen a lot, it is damaging your brain. Screens resonate at 50 to 60 hertz. That is very fast. It is wiring and tiring your brain, and it is ruining the optimal electrical energy pattern. It is putting you into what I call the pendulum effect pattern of a brain that's running too fast and too slow. Guess what? Mold does the same thing. So mold puts your brain in too fast. It's a stress response to being toxified, and too slow because your system is overwhelmed. They do the same thing to the brain. So you have to look at the thing that you have to change, screen time or your physical environment. Now, number two is then you have to do something to heal your brain. Now, thankfully, through this journey, I'm suffering all the physical consequences of mold toxins, but my brain looks good because I use brain training. So, brain hack number 2 is get the brain training headband. I don't sell it directly. I'm an ambassador. And yes, that means I get a small percentage just being transparent, but that's not why I'm telling you to get it. I use mine every single day. Every day, I'm bringing my brain out of the pendulum effect into the optimal brain pattern. And honestly, I think it's the reason my brain has stayed healthy, even though I now know through the testing, my home, the one I lived in, was off the charts, like one of the highest toxic environments there could be. So my brain's held steady because of brain training. Now here is the truth, and then we'll wrap it up. Number 2, the brain hack is get the brain training headband. Generally, it costs around $221 in the United States. The link is below that you can get the 15% off discount, and it's great. It adds up to savings for you, and that's just through my website or through my channels. Because I am the top ambassador in the world, because I tell people to use this headband and they use it and they get better. So please be one of those people. So this is how I talk about brain training. Brain training is the stitches that your brain needs to heal itself. Literally, pendulum effect brain, too fast, too slow. Neurofeedback or brain training, and Muse headband is the lowest level of it, is pulling your brain, just like stitches would pull your skin, back to heal in the optimal brain performance pattern, electrical energy of calm focus. Guess what? You can't solve problems out here. It's impossible. This is problem-seeking mode. This is where you get the problems. This is where you solve the problems. Calm focus in the middle. That's why it's imperative for you to get there if you're going to be able to take the long haul in fixing a screen brain issue or a mold brain issue. So neurofeedback brain training is the stitches. The Muse headband is the stitches. If you're taking medication, that's a Band-Aid. If you're detoxing, that's a Band-Aid. If you go to therapy, sometimes that can be the stitches. Most times, your brain is so dysregulated that talking about it only gets you this far. You need the brain training to get you all the way there. Most of the things that we do in the world, pharmaceuticals, drugs, alcohol, marijuana, those are all just Band-Aids. And especially when it's, just go back into the screen for more screen time, the hijacker tells you. Just smoke a little weed. Just have a couple cocktails. That's the hijacker telling you to ignore the problem. So if you're doing planned ignoring from your true self, that's you taking time to process and make a plan. If the hijacker tells you to have a bunch of cocktails, that is just derailing you from healing. And I gotta admit, I was there a couple times during the holidays where I'm like, let's just eat, drink, and be merry, my people, because I can't deal with this anymore. But then here I am, time to deal with it, and I'm following this thing through with a clean brain. I hope you join me. Okay, do those brain hacks and join me for the next video. And remember, control your brain or it'll control you.